Alrighty, well hello there again. Eric Padden once again, and on this video we're going to be talking about why silver versus the dollar. Okay, and a lot of us have been led to believe that maybe silver or gold are in a bubble and are maybe overpriced. And of course, if you're listening to the mainstream media, that's what you're hearing. Now, if you're in the know and you've done your own research, or you're looking at people that are more concerned with your well-being rather than leading the cattle to slaughter like they typically use the media for nowadays, then chances are you're aware that gold and silver are coming out of some serious manipulation recently, with JP Morgan and HSBC now being proven that for many years they've been manipulating the gold and silver, the precious metals markets, as well as many others. But right now it's being exposed that in the precious metals market, for many years they've been using their GLD and their SLV ETFs, which basically people think they can invest in gold and silver via these ETFs, electronic traded funds. And what's really happening is they're just using that as a way to create millions and millions of ounces of what I call phantom silver, silver that does not even exist. They've manipulated the laws nowadays, and you can actually, with naked shorts, the type of trading that they use, you can control 100 ounces of silver or gold as if you had the physical metal with nothing more than just an ounce of the real metal. You take it a step further with naked shorts, and they don't even need the money, they just have to supposedly have access to it. And so without getting into details, bottom line is they've been creating a situation where they're literally flooding the market with millions of ounces of gold and silver that don't even exist. And what that's doing is it's been bringing down the price of gold and silver. If you understand, currencies, that's their way of trying to keep the value of the dollar up, or at least the perception that the dollar is secure and strong. Because historically, whenever gold and silver go up too much, it means the paper currencies are going down, and they don't want that to happen. So bottom line, why silver versus the dollar? Rather than getting into a lot of details, let me just give you a simple example that hopefully everybody can appreciate. If you were to look at 1955, you could buy for about $1,600 a brand new Ford. Okay. Now, if you fast forward to today, here in 2011, you'd be lucky to get a brand new Ford for $16,000. Okay. So, looking just at that simple example, you've had your dollar lose 90% of its purchasing power, because you now are spending $16,000 for a brand new Ford that was $1,600. And I guarantee it's more efficient for them to produce that Ford today than it was in 1955. Bottom line is, your dollar has lost 90% of its value. Okay. Now, if you would have kept your money in silver, now most of us, we wouldn't have just converted $1,600 at one time, but let's just say you were smart enough that you slowly started building up a collection. And let's just say over time, you added a coin here and a coin there and a coin here and a coin there, until eventually you had yourself a nice little collection of bullion going. And what would have happened is when you first started putting that money away, it was about 90 cents an ounce. Now, if you look today at silver, you're looking at about $37 an ounce. Okay, and of course, this is with the paper that's out there, paper silver that's not even real, influencing the market. And you'll find that that would mean if you could have converted paper money through the years into real money, silver, you would have, instead of losing 90% of your purchasing power, you would have multiplied your purchasing power by about 40. Okay, so what do you think is better? What do you want to be able to do when it comes to your purchasing power? Watch it sit in your checking account, in your 401k, in your IRA, and lose 90% of its value, as has happened, okay? Or would you rather convert that paper money as you get it, and I'm doing it as fast as I can get it, turn it into real money? Because even just in the last couple years, well, I've lost over 10% in just the last couple years of my purchasing power with my dollar, okay? I've gained over 3 times, over 300% with the purchasing power of my silver. Okay, and this isn't like something that isn't liquid, okay? I throw this on eBay. Every time I need a little bit of cash, I have a tendency to convert paper into silver right away. So sometimes I'll need a little bit of cash, and I'll just throw a roll on eBay, okay, and boom, boom, in my PayPal account, into my account, do whatever I want with it. Very liquid, okay? And my plan is not to sell, but to hold. I'm buying and holding at 37. I just bought more. I'm going to keep buying at 50, at 100, because I know the reality is silver is so undervalued. In some of my other videos, I've talked about, silver as a commodity that's extremely undervalued. In this one, we just wanted to focus on how silver is going to give you a much better way to preserve your wealth than keeping your money in paper. And so, short and sweet, bottom line, you should be taking and converting your paper money into silver to protect you and your family's financial future. It's my belief that you're going to see gold and silver both rising as people get smart and learn that all this quantitative easing and the bailouts and the stimulus packages, all that does is create less and less and less purchasing power for the dollars that are in your wallet and your 401k. So instead of putting money away so that when you take it out later it buys a lot less than when you put it aside, why don't you consider rolling that into real money that as it closes that gap from the current 40-to-1 ratio and gets closer to the reality of what I think should be 10-to-1, I do believe that eventually, much like palladium used to be worth more than platinum, and now that is switched and now you've got platinum is worth more than palladium, the same factors are at work in the silver and the gold market. Gold is being hoarded away, okay? We went from in 1950, there were about 1 billion ounces of gold and there were about 10 billion ounces of silver, okay, in 1950. So in 1950, that 10-to-1 ratio was accurate as far as above ground silver. Now fast forward to 2011, now we've got about 7 billion ounces of gold because all the gold that's ever been mined is basically still above ground. You know, maybe it's in an ocean if it's a big treasure that, you know, the pirates lost or whatever. However, it's all above ground. Gold is hoarded. It's not used up as silver is as an industrial metal. And so if you look now at the silver, we've gone from that 10 billion ounces I talked about in 1950, and we're looking at less than 1 billion ounces on the planet today of above ground silver. Matter of fact, in 2010, there was about 890 million ounces that were used up between industrial and the ever-increasing investment demand. But also, you'll look at the mining of actual silver that was taken out of the earth, it was only about 650 million ounces. And so that, every year since 1991, that mining and, you know, the actual use of the physical silver has been every single year going backwards. And so every single year since 1991, we've used up more silver, mostly through physical, you know, things where the silver's gone forever. And what's happening is that's taken that big surplus we had in 1950 of 10 billion ounces, and it's been slowly using it up. Okay, and now we're down to where there's less than 1 billion, and most people agree that's about what's getting used up every year. So it doesn't take rocket science to figure it out. Silver has a lot more of an upside than gold. I believe 40-to-1 is just way, way, way out of whack. I mean, in reality, I think 1-to-1 would be a little closer, and as silver gets used up, once again, today we're looking at about 1 billion ounces of silver and about 7 billion ounces of gold. So shouldn't it be kind of reversed? But it's not. There's been so much manipulation that silver is extremely undervalued. So whether you put your paper money into gold or silver, I think both of those are going up. I just believe, my personal opinion, that silver has a lot more upside than gold. So once again, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. I'm Eric Patton. You can always give me a call anytime and we can discuss your situation. And you know, whether you want to buy some bullion, I basically share this with my friends and family, people in my business. They can buy from me at cost. I just basically order another roll, give you a roll at cost, because I believe, you know, everybody should be doing that. And if you're my business, I send coins and you're getting a coin shipped out on autopilot, then you can go ahead and have each and every month a nice MSN 69 collectible coin. And if you've listened to my other videos, you'll know that these collectible coins are nice because if there's ever a confiscation of bullion, like there was in 1930 in the United States, you don't have to turn over your collectible coins. They're non-declarable. And so I like to collect both the collectible coins as well as the bullion. And I know that when the time is right, I will go ahead and exit out of silver into whatever might make the most sense. Could be real estate. I know my dollars won't go far over time. In 5 or 10 years, they certainly won't buy nearly as much as they would today. And that's if we even have a dollar in 5 or 10 years. A lot of people think we're at the last days of the dollar and we're looking at maybe, you know, another year or 2, 3, no more than 4 or 5 years left before we go to this new international currency. And if that is a one world currency, which many people know they've been working toward for many years, then you can go into that currency in a position of strength. And you'll be a lot better off with just 4 or 5 or 10 rolls of silver than people that have $1 million sitting in their 401ks right now, because that money could be worthless. However, your silver could be going up in value quite dramatically. So once again, Eric Patton, feel free to give me a call, 858-705-2487, or you can jump on my blog and take a look. It's isncoinsbusiness.com. Once again, Eric Patton, 858-705-2487, or jump on my blog and take a look. There's several different articles on there. You can learn a lot about the silver, gold, and just the economy in general by jumping on my blog at isncoinsbusiness.com. Once again, thanks a lot for your time, and hey, make it a great day. I'll catch up with you on the next video.